And we are live. How is everyone? It is live Tuesday night, first live after Halloween 2021. Welcome. This is Capital Advantage Tutoring, and it's my job that you pass the Series 7 and the SIE exam, and all the other exams too. Not a problem. Put my headphones somewhere. Hope I don't cough again. Let's try not to do the whole mute game where I talk for minutes and minutes with no one hearing me. Although if you talk to my family, they love it. Welcome on. Couple quick things. If you like what I'm doing, please hit like and subscribe. Don't do it now. Do it later because you don't know what I'm doing. If I helped you or not. Now, hey, Yvonne, Joe, Jocelyn, Sebastian, how are you? Sebastian, that's awesome. I love it. Pass the Series 7 exam. I love that thing. That is awesome. Okay. Yvonne, how are you? I hope you got that study group going. Okay, a couple quick things. Ivan, that's awesome. I love it. That's two people, Sebastian and Ivan. Congratulations for passing the 7. Oh, sorry to hear about that, Preston, Trevor, whatever we're going to call you. Yeah, it's tough. It's always a swinging for the fences when you miss and you go for it. You just ask them to we'll talk. Okay, let's get back to this now. Guys, congratulations. And any surprise? Do you want to put on here if you have any surprises or anything? I'm so happy for you guys. Look, if you like what I'm doing, please hit like and subscribe. There are some free resources. So I'm going to get to the orders and get to the questions. I just got to do my little pitch first, okay? If you guys like what I'm doing and you want a little group sessions, we have the membership for $25 a month. You can get on Sunday nights. We do once a week. If you just want to deal with my amazing fucking options, that's $10 a month, and you get access to all my options, which will change your fucking life. Into my links, you look down there. God, it's gonna kill me. This fucking cough is gonna kill me and my wife. My family absolutely wants to kill me. I've gone to the doctor. I can't get anything done. Go into my links. You can get Achievable, which is awesome for the SIE and the 7. Now the 63 and 66. SDC does everything. You get a 15% discount. Then we go over to, if you want some free resources, reach out to me. You go on my channel. We got barrier level. I bet it's resistance or exempt. You got my channel, Capital Advantage Tutoring for Series 7, which is awesome. The best. I'm the GOAT. I'm the shit. Then we have Basic Wisdom with Brandon Rith, who comes on here sometimes. And then we have Dean Tinney over at his website. He does some good stuff. He has some good videos up there. Other things is Series 7 exam and Series 7. So if you go onto Reddit, there's some good stuff there. There's Series 7 exam, and then there's Series 7. Those two subreddits are kind of competing. They kind of give you the same kind of information. Feel free to look at Khan Academy as I die, and feel free to look at Investopedia, which are great stuff. If you need tutoring, obviously reach out to me at series7exam.org, or you can go to Michael Weiss, check him out. He's a little cheaper. It's good stuff. He's really solid. He's at series7examtutor.com. Michael Weiss, he also runs the Series 7 exam subreddit. Okay, so let's do this. Okay, Jocelyn. Okay, guys, also, you got the membership, you got this, you got that. Okay, check out my playlist. If you're going to take the 7 in the next anytime days, go check out my Series 7 Much Watch list. Also, go check out Blue Collar Finance Podcast. I have about a bunch of new ones out there. I have about 14 new episodes on there, one on suitability. You can listen to this as you're riding your bike or driving or running. It makes it easier than having YouTube on all the time. Great stuff. Go check them out. Okay, Google, play Blue Collar Finance. Okay. Now, what's rescission? An offer of rescission is if you sell something. So for the Series 63, 65, and 66, an offer of rescission, okay, an offer of rescission is when you screw up by selling an unregistered security, or you're not registered or something, and you're offering back to the client to give them the money back plus a little bit of interest plus lawyer's cost. You're just offering it back. If they've already started to sue you, you can't do it. You offer that to them. They have 30 days to accept. If they don't accept, they lose the right to sue you. That does not stop you from being in trouble. It just stops you from having to, they can't sue you anymore. So an offer of rescission, you make an offer, you say, here's what we're giving you. You're basically offering what they would have gotten if they sued you anyway, because there's no such thing as punitive damages. So you just give them the money back. There you go. Hope that helps. And it's usually for if you do something wrong, not just if it goes the wrong way. Okay, John, I'll get to your question. John did ask me a question before. Okay, Ruben, you're asking to access a video while I am teaching. Okay. Just again, Ivan and Sebastian, I'm so happy for you. Okay. Josie, I appreciate it. Thank you. Okay. Question about the ex-dividend reduced on a sell short. Well, if you have think about this. So Slim Ammo is asking on ex-dividend date, I assume. On ex-dividend date, only orders below the market get reduced. So sell limits and sell shorts won't get reduced because they only reduce orders below the market. So buy limits and sell stops get reduced. Now, the question is, how do they get reduced? They get reduced by the amount of the dividend. So if you're like, say, stock's trading at 50 and there's a 30-cent dividend, and they announce they declare a 30-cent dividend, and then on the X day it's X. So your order limit, your buy limit or sell stop will be reduced by 30 cents. Now, if it's a day order, they're not going to reduce it. It's only for open/GTC orders, because if you place a day order on the X day and you put in the bad price, that's your problem. But if you have an open order from weeks or months ago, they're going to reduce the price, but only buy limits and sell stops get reduced. Hope that helps. In between the coughing. Okay. Yeah, Sebastian. A lot of people feel like they're going to fail during it. They really do. A lot of people feel like they're failing during the whole thing. Okay. So it's good. You got to fight, guys. I can't say this enough. Everyone feels like they're struggling through the exam, don't give up. Do not give up. Just power through. Okay. Yeah, some people run against the time limit. That's fine. Yeah, barrier limit. The only thing I can think, let's see. Information barriers. I see nothing about barrier limit orders. Barrier limits. Nope. The only thing I got is information barriers, and that's what I thought. So I don't know what that is. I don't. Okay. I don't know what that's going to be in a barrier limit. Barrier level. The only thing I can think of is like support and resistance. That's the only thing I can think of. Okay. So Dean, why would an investment advisor not have to register with the SEC? Okay. So let's see. The SEC only deals with the big people. So on this series 63, 65, and 66, this could happen. If you are an investment advisor and you're managing under $100 million, the SEC doesn't give a shit about you. So you have to register in the various states where you either have a place of business, not just an office, place of business, or have more than 5 clients. That would be when you register with the state. Now, there are exceptions. If you're registered in more than 15 states, even though you're under 100, they let you register with the SEC. If you're managing a mutual fund, even if you're under 100 million, they let you they have you register with the SEC. But for the most part, anything under 100, an investment advisor is going to be registering with the state. Okay. Ivan, that's very funny. Okay. Okay, Proud, we'll talk about that. So, yeah, I'm telling you, I have a girl. There's a girl who took it like 3-4 years ago when they used to give scores. Okay, maybe so 4 years ago. She hit the button. I mean, she knew this shit. She hit the button and it said 91 on it, right? And she came crying and bawling and crying, and she thought she failed. She was so bad. She thought the 91 is how many questions she got right. She said, I wasn't thinking. She was laughing, tears when she did this. And she's crying. And when she sat down to sign out, the lady said, what did you want to get all of them right? And think about it. If you thought you want to get 91 right and you failed and somebody said that to you, you'd be pretty upset. But she said, you got a 91, you passed. You got 9% wrong. You got like 18 questions wrong because back then it was 250 questions. So then she started laughing. But yeah, people, when you're in that moment, you just don't know. So don't ever feel bad. Okay. Okay. So Preston, yeah, you can buy other question banks. If you have Kaplan, you can buy Past Perfect question banks. You can go right to STC. I think my link will help you there. You can buy Achievable and just buy the whole thing. It's more expensive, but you buy everything. I think training consultants you can buy their question bank, but you then definitely go to STC and you can definitely go through Past Perfect. Just Past Perfect are hard questions. But yeah, you can buy question banks from them. Okay. I'm really trying to push Achievable. I'm meeting with them Thursday, I think. I'm going to really push them to sell question bank questions too. I mean, unless they're not doing it, but I don't know why they wouldn't. It's easy money. I mean, they're cheap. Okay. Yeah, Ivan, that's very funny. I had a couple of people go in and they passed and they come out and they go, look, I went after they started taking the exam, they actually went back to the proctor and said, are you sure I got the right exam? Because it felt so different. And that's why I tell everyone, don't try to memorize Kaplan, STC, Past Perfect. Don't ever ask which ones look the most like it. There's none of them do. When you take the exam, you see that none of them look like the real exam. They don't. They don't look like it, but it's more about getting the knowledge. So when somebody throws a curve at you, you're fine. And that's the entire test is curveballs. Okay. It's a nerve-wracking test. Okay. Hey, John, I'll get to your question. I haven't done it yet. Okay. Yeah, Garrett, I agree. Don't ever don't do questions a lot. I think it's on Spotify. I think it's on Apple. I think it's on all of them. Yeah. It's mostly for the SIE, but it's about I just did my suitability on there. But remember, I go deeper than the SIE on my stuff, so my stuff will help you for the 7. Okay. PJ McFall, can I give a good take on issuer of an agent, how when they need to register an exemptor? Please, yes, I can do that. Okay. Yeah, see, just reread the book. That's the biggest thing. Perfect. Okay. So now PJ. An agent of an issuer is someone who doesn't work for the broker-dealer, works for the actual issuer. So like an example is, say, PJ, you and your twin brother, you work for RBC, your twin brother works for New York City. You're both, so New York City is issuing muni bonds. Your brother works for New York City, helping sell the muni bonds, and you work for RBC selling the muni bonds. You have to register. He doesn't, okay? Because he works for the issuer. So if you work for the issuer, and it's either an exempt transaction or an exempt issuer, you don't have to register. But if you're working for the broker-dealer, you do, okay? Yeah, there's certain specific exempt transactions, but the test isn't that tricky where they're going to say, oh, this one versus that one. So keep in mind, if you work for the issuer, not the broker-dealer, you work for New York City, you work for the bank, or you work for an insurance company, or you work for just an insurance company, not a broker-dealer insurance. You work for the, like Canadian government or Canadian Muni, that kind of thing. You don't have to register if you're selling your own shares. Okay. Now, if you work for like my company, you work for Catch Tutoring, I'm an issuer, and you're selling it non-exempt with just your normal shares, yes, you would have to register if you're getting paid. You would have to register. Okay. Okay. Gary, how are you? Okay, Rule 144. Thank you, Ivan. I appreciate it. Rose, how are you? Okay. Okay. Proud, I know you're Preston, but proud you're going to pass. Now, Rule 144. Rule 144, the reason it's confusing is because it applies to 2 different people. On the SIE exam and the Series 7 exam, you'll get questions on this. On the SIE, so let's go with this. 144 for control people, these are partners, officers, directors, 10% owners of the company. They have no holding period, but they can only sell the greater of 1% of the outstanding or the 4 weeks trading volume every 90 days. Now, if it's restricted, which is like Reg D, you have to hold it for 6 months, fully paid, 6 months, and then you can sell whatever you want. That's why you're getting confused on the 90 days and 6 months. If it's restricted, it's a 6-month hold. If it's controlled, there's no hold, but you have the volume restrictions. Okay. 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 Thank you, Alita. Okay. Yeah, Ivan. Yeah. I mean, here's the thing. Um, right. It must have been one of the fake ones. Okay. Okay. There you go. It just works back and forth. Perfect. Okay. Now, Ivan, if you or don't have the 63 yet and that's what you need, get that first so it's off your plate. Right? Take the 63, get it out of the way. If they don't need anything, then yeah, go for the 66. But if you need the 63 to just get registered and do everything, get the 63, get it done, and then study for the 66 on your own time. Because the good thing is by studying for the 63, you're basically studying for half of the 66 anyway. Just an idea. Okay. Okay. A lot of 63, 66 questions. Okay. Um, yeah, the 63 is not that bad. I swear. Okay. Okay. Hope that helped, guys, with that. Okay. Ivan, that's very funny. I think it's so funny. I'm going to be telling that story that people walk out all the time thinking they failed and then they passed. If you see a score, you failed. Okay. What's not an agent? So, first of all, remember on this series 63, 65, and 66, they don't use the word register rep, they use our agent. An agent is an individual, never a firm, that works for broker dealer. Boom, we got that. Now let's go down what wouldn't be an agent. So a broker dealer would not be an agent. An IA would not be an agent. A bank, an issuer, an IAR would not be. None of those meet the definition of an agent. If you work for an issuer and it's either an exempt transaction or exempt security, you're not an agent. What that means is you don't meet the definition where you have to register as an agent. That's all it means. So think whenever you get a question and they say, try it, I can't say this enough. Whenever you get a question on any of the series 63, 65, or 66 tests, you need to first ask yourself, are they talking about a firm or are they talking about an individual? If it's a firm, it can only be a broker dealer or an IA in a way. And if it's an individual, it can only be an agent or an IAR. And they kind of don't mix. I mean, you can be both an IAR and an IA. Yeah, Rose, we know you need the 63. You need to keep hammering it. Watch my videos, keep reading, and we're going to get you through it. Okay. Okay. Right. So that's good. But you beat it. You beat it, though, right? Okay. That's funny. Isn't it amazing how Sebastian's had a ton of math and Ivan had none? So on the options, remember, most of the math you get will be option related, not the other related. Yeah, they might do a current yield or tax equivalent yield or convertibles, but most of your math is probably going to be on the options. Okay. Oof. See, everyone has problems. Okay. Now here's a question, Joe. Here's a question for you. So on this test, if you're just selling life insurance, I'm going to ask Joe C this one. As an agent, if you're just selling life insurance only, meaning not variable, just straight life insurance, are you an agent? Okay. Oh, Yvonne. Okay. Okay. So, Yvonne, when is a tax equivalent yield used? That's when you're trying to compare a corporate to a muni. So if I give you the choice of a 7% muni, tax-free, or a 9% corporate, which is taxable, you have to decide which one is the best to do. So let's say you're in the 20% tax bracket, okay? Say you're in the 20% tax bracket, you do 9 times the 100 minus the tax bracket, 9 times 0.8. So that's going to give you an after-tax return or tax-free equivalent of 7.2, which means the corporate's still better than the muni because the muni was 7. If they just give you the muni of 7% and they say what's the tax equivalent yield, which means what corporate bond or taxable bond would be the equivalent, you do the muni yield divided by 100 minus the tax bracket. So the same thing, you would do 7 divided by, if you're in the 20% bracket, 100 minus 20 divided by 80%, whatever that's going to be. So I'm going to be just like 8 point something percent. But that's what you're doing. So the tax equivalent yield and the tax-free and a tax equivalent are just to figure out whether you should do the muni or the corporate. And you just do, remember, multiply the corporate, divide the muni. Multiply the corporate, divide the muni. If you have a corporate bond, you multiply 100 minus a tax bracket. If it's a muni, you divide. Okay. Hope that helps, Yvonne. And I hope you're getting in those group. I think, Yvonne, you're in the group, right? Okay. Okay. There you go. Ivan has it right.
Mm-hmm.
Perfect. Okay. Yeah, everyone is always afraid of 144, and it's not that hard. Okay. It's fast. Yeah. So the 63 is tough. Okay. 63 is not tough as in hard, it's just tough as in time. So Jocelyn and Rose, this is the one exam. I have a student. Usually what happens is when you start taking tests, you're like the 50s, and then you quickly go to 60, 70, 80. Quickly, quickly, quickly. It moves up very quickly. But usually the day before people start getting better, because this is the one exam. The 63 is the only exam that I'm a fan of people taking a lot of exams. I'm trying to find John's question. Where is he, man? There he is. Okay. Okay. So the question from John T. Can I go over the time price execution with regards to written authorization, what an agent needs in order to do it? Okay. So if all you have to do is time and price, which means I call you guys up and say, hey, group, buy 1,000 shares of IBM, and I hang up. Well, let's see. I gave you the buy or sell, I gave you the amount, and I gave you the security. You don't need written authority. Just do it. Not held. Whatever, you can either do it not held or not. You don't need written authority to do that. If you choose any one of those three, if you choose the buy or sell, the amount, or the security. So if I call you up and say, listen, buy 1,000 shares of any tech stock, I'm not telling you the security. You're choosing it. You need written authorization. So on the IA side, I can call you up and give you verbal authorization for power of attorney for up to 10 days, and then I need it in writing. For the agents on the broker-dealer side, they need it ahead of time. So if you are going to choose anything more than the time of the trade and the price, you need power of attorney, okay? You need, if it's agent, you need it ahead of time in your hand, not mailed, in your hand. And if it's an IAR, they get up to 10 days. Guys, if you like what I'm doing, bang out the like and hit share, baby. I love that. Share's the big one. Okay. Okay. No, wait. So the 63 has always been 60, 65 questions. 60 with five fake ones. Ivan, maybe you took the 66 a few years ago because because it was never that much. I took it in 88, 88 or 89, and it was then. Okay. Yeah, I think Kaplan Audiobook would be good. But I'm working on the podcast, so hopefully that'll be the same thing. Okay. Right. Ivan, I agree. 63 is much more yeah, Preston, that's not a bad idea. Read it out loud. It's that exactly. Okay. PJ, you mean NPV, right? So NPV is, so you use discounted cash flow to take all the future cash. This is for the 65 and the 66. The discounted cash flow is what you're doing. NPV and discounted cash flow kind of work together. Discounted cash flow is where you take all the future cash flows that you're getting from the bond or the company or whatever it is, and you're discounting them back to today's dollars. So, like, say you have a bond that you know is worth $1,000 and a zero coupon. You know it's worth $1,000 in 10 years. You're going to take that $1,000 and discount it back to present value today. Say that's worth $850. Now, if you could buy the bond for $800, even though the present value is $850, the fair market value, if you could buy it for $800, that means you're getting it for a deal, which means you have a positive NPV. So if you can buy, if the current market price or the ability to buy it is less than the present value, you have a positive NPV. If now, say the bond was trading at 875 and present value is 850, you wouldn't want to do it because you're paying more than what it's worth. So you have a negative NPV. And the discounted cash flow is all the future cash flows discounted back. So if it's a zero coupon, there's nothing to discount except for the maturity value, which is the future value. But if it's a bond, you're going to take all the future interest payments plus the maturity value and discount them back to come up with a present value. Okay. Okay, Gary, a barbell. Let's talk about that just so we have it. Janet, how'd you do on the 63? Now, the barbell question, barbell is usually to kind of mitigate interest rate risk a little bit. It doesn't do a great job, but it's there. So the reason it's a pull the barbell is because it has a bunch of short-term bonds and a bunch of long-term bonds and nothing in between. So it looks like those old cartoon pictures of barbells where you have a lot of short-term, a lot of long-term, and like nothing in between. So it's a barbell. So it kind of mitigates interest rate risk a little bit. I think that doing a ladder is a better job where you're buying a bunch of different you're buying bonds that mature at different times. Okay. Yeah, true. Yeah, so that's the thing. Some people, oh, there you go, Joe. Some people get really long questions. I prepare them for long ones, and then they're short, and then I prepare them for just doing stuff, and they get with these paragraph long questions. Get the timing down. You really, really, really have to get the timing down. That's not even a kidding. You have to. That's why this is the one exam I want people to take question upon question upon question, just to get the timing down, to get used to it, to get in the pattern. And if that means you have to buy another vendor, buy another vendor. Just do it. It's worth doing it once instead of having to take it twice. Okay. Right. Agreed, Janet. I'm sorry to hear that you missed it by 2. That's so close. The biggest thing you can do is just answer the questions. That's why you get in practice so that you want to practice so your practice exams are done in an hour. So this way, when you're doing it, it's a you have a little bit of a cushion. Okay. If you hit join, it doesn't work. If you hit join, you should be able to do it. It should work. I mean, I don't know why it wouldn't. Try it on a laptop. Maybe clear out your cache on your computer and then hit start each. I think I saw you post, and I just been crazy busy the last 3 days. Just go. If you look on a laptop, you see a thing that says join, and then it should give you a bunch of choices. Okay. Now, where are we? Bond help. Chris, that's a big question. So, okay, so are you talking about, so first of all, if you hold the bond to maturity, there's no capital gain or loss. I'm just going to say that. You have to know that. If you hold the bond to maturity, there's no capital gain or loss. Doesn't mean you won't have to pay taxes, but you don't have a capital gain or loss. So here's what I'm going to tell you, Chris. If you have an OID, which is a zero coupon, OID, you must accrete. What does accreting mean? I have a video on that, bond math, okay? I'll try it if I can remember. I'll put it here. But I probably won't. OID, you must accrete, which means if you buy an $800 bond and it's 10 years to maturity, you have to take the discount of $200, divide it by the $10, divided by 10 years. That means $20 a year. You're going to increase your cost basis by $10 every year. Okay, every year. Okay. So after 1 year, you're at 820. After 2 years, you're at 840. That's not the market price. That's your new cost basis. And if you hold it to maturity, it accretes all the way up to par, and there's no capital gain or loss. Now, the thing is, on an OID, that discount is considered interest income. Okay, that discount is interest income. So that, if it's a muni, is interest on a muni tax? No. So the accretion amount on a muni is not taxable. If it's a corporate or treasury, then they are. Okay, so that is taxable. So OID, you must accrete. Boom. If it's a discount bond because interest rates went up, it's a secondary. You don't have to accrete. You can actually wait to the end and then do all the math. On the premium side, only if it's a muni do you need to amortize. Corporates and treasuries, you get to choose. So if it's a muni premium, you have to amortize. If it's a corporate or treasury, you do not have to. It's the easiest way to remember it. You can just it's an amortization. If you buy it at $1,200 and it's 10 years to maturity, you're going to do 200, the amount above or below par, divide by the number of years. That tells you the accretion or amortization amount, and then you either drop it in amortization or raise it in accretion. Okay. Right. They should be a lot on there. but they're not going to ask you the rule numbers. You just got to know the rules. Okay? They're not going to ask you the numbers. You need to know the rules. So, Yvonne, maybe it'll help a little bit. I have an MSRB. Look for my playlist called MSRB. And I go through all the rules and I say it repeatedly. You don't need to the numbers. I think I put some other video, the GL versus revenue in there too. That's funny, Jocelyn. Okay. Sebastian, 760, 763, 65. Done. Boom. That's awesome, Sebastian. That's awesome. So I'm going to miss you. I'm going to miss you being on here. It's so good. Just all I ask is to tell people about your firm, to jump on the videos or check me out. I love it. That's awesome. I absolutely love it. Okay. So helped. Okay. Yeah. Again, as I say, Joe has it right. Do not. Yeah, Yvonne, it's very hard. Just read it like a story. You have to learn to just write down things that you're not sure of. You have to learn to write down things that you're not sure of, that like maybe you want to discuss in the group, in your group sessions or whatever it is. Okay. Don't rewrite the book. They already wrote it. Why would you do it again? I just had to tell a lady now, she has 1 month to take the test. It's a 700-page book. She's getting through like 2 chapters a week, but she's writing everything down. Now she's reading. Now she's just reading, and then she'll take notes later on stuff she's not sure of. I also told her, which I love this, to start studying in the morning. That's a tough one for some people if you're actually commuting, but it's easier to study in the morning than at night. I mean, how tired are you guys at the end of the day? So if you can, like, she starts at 8 in the morning. If she can study from 6 to 8 in the morning, then she has to do nothing else for the rest of the night. When she gets home from work, no matter how bad her day is, she doesn't have to do a thing, which is awesome. How did you have I'm telling you, so you had a bunch of questions on butterfly. You just got a bad question. Okay. Boom. Don't worry about it. This is not just a Series 7. This is everything. Every FINRA exam there is. Okay. 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 Sebastian, hey, congratulations. Again, congratulations. Have a great night. And I will hopefully, in a nice way, I'll never see you again. Boom. Okay. So stay fit. I'm surprised there were butterflies on there because usually they must be test questions. Well, what happens if you're not ready for them, you get 2 questions and it feels like there's a million of them. Mostly the butterfly spreads are more about theory, and pretty much they always want neutral. That's kind of what they're there for. They're like kind of straddles in a way. Okay. So stay fit lifestyle. So first thing you should do, you need books. If you have books already, that's great. If you don't have books, go my links. You can buy the Achievable or STC. Either one works. Not for the 6, but for the SIE. And the reason, if you don't have books, to go with the Achievable, I mean, it's like $80. Every other vendor is like $200-300. So go in there and you can buy it. If not, first thing you do, so stay fit. First thing you do is read the fucking book. Read it straight through. Read this SIE book, whatever book you have, just read it straight through, cover to cover. Get the story. I have a whole playlist called SIE the book. Follow along. Try to match it up with what you're reading. I talk about equities, bonds. I talk about all the products and all the regs. I do the whole thing. Everything on that video could be on the exam. Everything. Okay. Again, if Sebastian, you're still here, I love that you did this. Okay. Just like Yvonne said, read the book straight through. Okay. There you go. Read the back. Look at that, everyone. Okay. After you finish the exam, then start taking practice exam. And yes, Ivan's right. So if you have a friend, this is what I did when I first got married, when my wife used to like me. What I used to do is I would give her questions. She would give me she would hold on to the questions and she would read them to me and not give me the answer choices. And I had to explain the answer in a way that she, who knew nothing about the business, could understand. That really helped. So if you have a friend, a girl, guy, whatever it is, what you do, and you want to spend time with them so you don't ignore them, give them the questions, have them ask it to you, and you have to explain it so that they can find it in the question, in the answer bank. It really helps because it makes you understand it. Because if you can explain it to somebody else where they can find it without knowing the actual answers, you're in good shape. Okay. Okay. I can explain this. Okay. Nicole, that is awesome. Congratulations, Nicole. I love it. I love hearing when people pass the SIE. Any surprises on there? Anything? Anything we can help out? Okay. The FINRA 5% policy is a guideline. It is not a rule. So basically, it's saying you are not supposed to charge more than 5% commission or markup on any equity or bond. Non-exempt. Munis, treasuries, mutual funds, anything that the prospectus doesn't have to worry about this. Like a new issue, it's like 10%. Limited partnerships, it's like 11%. It doesn't matter. Mutual funds, 8.5%. Annuities, fair and reasonable. But equities, non-exempt, and non-exempt bonds, which means corporate, they have a 5% guideline, which means your commission or markup should not be more than 5% of the total value. 5% is a lot. I mean, think about it. If you buy $100,000 worth of stock, you're paying $5,000 in commissions. That's a lot. Okay. Most people don't charge that much, but some people do. So they can't. The goal is that they can't charge more than that. And in reality, the way the thought process is, anything over 3%, they're probably red flagging you anyway. Okay. Hope that helps, Yvonne. Okay. Okay, PJ. Yeah, look, first of all, Jocelyn, 5 days is more than enough time to get past the 63. If you bang it out, get through the book. I had a girl just now. She was scored in the mid-60s, high 70s, right? And I said, and she's never read the book. So I said, read the freaking book. She spent 2 days reading a book. Now she's mid-80s, 87. She owns the damn thing. It's amazing. Just read the book. Get through the book to 63 one time, and then start banging out questions. Okay. PJ, a master limited partnership. I love the challenging questions. There's limited partnerships and master limited partnerships. Limited partnerships are just the regular ones. I just started a business. I'm a limited partner. You're the GP. You run it. I just put money in. A master limited partnership is bigger, and it's actually it's a little more liquid because it trades on an exchange. That's the whole point. They set up a master limited partnership so they can have a lot more limited partners, and it trades on an exchange. The docs you need to set it up are really the agreement among. It's the agreement of a partnership. It's not the certificate. So it's the agreement of limited partnership agreement. Okay. So it's called the limited partnership agreement. That's how you set it up. And if you see the certificate of limited partnership, that's what they file with the state. That doesn't really have anything other than the name on it. The subscription agreement is what the limited partners fill out to get into the agreement. So the limited partnership agreement is how you set it up. To subscribe to it as a limited partner, you do the subscription agreement. Now, to open an account with a limited partnership, you need that. Plus, you need a list of authorized traders, like people that are allowed to place trades, which is pretty much going to be the GPs. So you're going to need the tax ID of the partnership plus the signature of the GP. Okay. You can get this done, Jocelyn. I know you can. Okay. Okay. So here's the thing. Chris, if you're going to get one of those on the test, they're really going deep. So here's the deal. This is what you have to know on the confirmation. Because remember something, the confirmation won't show the accreted amount because they don't know, right? It's the market price. So if it's a discount bond, you quote it at yield to maturity. And if it's a premium bond that's callable, you do the yield to call. So it's always what they call yield to worst. So if you have a discount bond, you quote it yield to maturity. If it's a premium bond, the yield to call will show up in the confirmation, and that's how it's quoted. And any call provisions. Now, if it's non-callable, okay. Yeah, okay. So most of the time, yeah. But here's the thing, Ivan. You remember that one. So yes, do you have to remember every rule number? No. But you should absolutely know what 147 is, and you should know what 144 is, Reg D, stuff like that. But you're not going to have to know what G38 is, okay? So what's a 147? It's an intrastate offering. It's in one state. That is, you have to know that one. I have videos on it. I talk about it. So under Active 33, there's exceptions. 147 is an intrastate offering. Doesn't really register because it's registered in one state. Reg D is exempt. Reg A is exempt. That kind of thing. Okay. Reg S, which is offshore. Morning is much easy. Okay. Surrender fees. Okay. Yeah, you're going to get one or two butterfly questions. I always tell people don't worry about it because here's the problem. Trying to learn the butterfly shit on top of all the other crap is a loss leader. It's a loss thing because you're going to spend, hours trying to figure that out and get one question maybe, and it's not worth it. You're better off spending those hours on spreads and straddles and other things to get it. So I don't teach it because it takes a long time to teach and it's not worth it. Okay. What's CSV? I don't know what CSV means. Okay. Surrender charge. Okay. So if you take, if you leave, perfect, Joe. So if a surrender fee is if you leave an insurance policy or an annuity before the contract is up, they can charge you surrender fees. But the longer you stay, the less they are. So if you have a 20-year policy and you leave after 5 years, you may pay some heavy surrender fees. But if you leave after 15 years, you may not have to. That's all. Okay. What are federal covered advisors excluded from? Okay. One, do not worry about. No, okay. Butterfly spreads are 4 options. It's too close and too far away. I'm telling you, don't worry about it. Ivan, you may have felt you got a lot, you just got a bad thing. But most people get maybe one, and it's usually just a test question or a fake one. It's really not going to be that big a deal. Okay. Because the problem is with the butterfly, you're buying 2 in the money and selling 2 out of the money, or selling 2 in the money and buying 2 out of the money. It's like it's a 4-legged spread. Federal covered advisors. So federal covered advisors, don't worry about exclude from exempt. Don't worry about that. They're not, especially in the 63, they're not doing that, okay? They just want to know if they have to register or not, and they fucking don't. Federal covered advisors, remember something, and this is what I have in one of my videos. An advisor is either registered at the state or the SEC, never both. So if you're a federal covered advisor, you do not have to register in the state. You're not an advisor on the state level. You might, once you have either a place of business in the state or more than 5 clients, you might have to notice file, but that's it. Don't worry about exclude versus exempt. You're not a lawyer. Just most of the time, the questions are just going to say, do they have to register or not? Okay. Don't worry about the forms. Okay. This is not a fucking CFA. This is not a CPA exam. You don't know the forms. Helen, I'm not mad at you. The point is, it's the way the books do. You have to know whether they're passed through or not, or you have to know if the corporations are passed through or the corporations are taxable. 99% of the time, you will not have to know that they do a 1099 or a K1. Anything, if you want to know here, if it's a pass through, they do a K1, which is limited partnerships, LLCs, and S corps. For the sole prop, they use a Schedule C on your own personal tax return. Boom. Do not worry about the taxes. Not for the 66. Okay. Whoa. Caleb coming in with a question. Okay. Suppose that I'm almost caught up. Suppose that a bond portfolio with a duration of 12 years is hedged using a futures with a generalized. Jesus Christ. So the problem is that the bond portfolio with a duration of 12 will have more volatility than the futures contract. Okay. When can you charge a fee based on performance? Performance-based fees you can only do it for qualified clients. What's a qualified client? It is a client that has at least 2.1 net worth or $1 million under management. Okay, Lewis. First of all, I would make sure. Caleb, you're killing me. I have no freaking idea. I couldn't do that. Okay. Caleb, you don't scare people with this. I know you're funny and you're doing it for your class. That's the CFP stuff, but don't scare people. Okay. What is the likely impact on the hedge if the 12-year rate is less volatile? The 12-year could not. I don't know that the 12-year can be less volatile. Oh no, it shouldn't be less volatile than the the rate. Yeah, true. Actually, the short-term rates are more volatile than long-term rates. But again, this is going to scare people because people are taking the test and this is not going to be on there. So anyone reading Caleb's stuff, you can figure it out. That's great and it's fun. But don't worry, it won't be on the exam. Caleb, you're killing these people. Okay. So when can I charge a performance-based fee? It's if they're qualified, which means 2.1 net worth or $1 million under management. Boom, those are qualified clients. Now, main focus on the SIE the week before, I would focus on the regulations and the risks. So that's like if you have the SEC, it's the last like 8 chapters or 9 chapters. Like I have the videos. I would say chapter 11 through 20 are probably the most important to study in the last week or so. Okay. Hey, Eric Adams is the New York mayor. That's awesome. Okay. Yeah, that's what I'm telling you. I don't think they do. They don't want you to miss out on like acronyms. Like they don't want you to go, oh, VA and go, I don't know what it is, because that's a risk. So if they do an acronym, they will usually tell you what it is. Like if they say VA, they'll say variable annuity. If they see CMO, they most likely will say collateralized mortgage obligation, or they'll say asset-backed security. For the most part, they're not gonna kill you on like trying to memorize it. They're not expecting you to know what acronyms are. They're expecting you to know what the concepts are, and that's the big thing. So don't worry about that too much. That's funny, but you passed, right? So yeah, again, Nicole, for the SIE, the formula's not a big deal. They could be a couple. Yeah, what's PE ratio? PE ratio is just the market price divided by the earnings per share. Remember, these formulas are named on what they do. Think about earnings per share, earnings divided by shares, earnings divided by outstanding shares. Minus the preferred if you want to take that out. But in general, it's earnings divided by number of shares. PE ratio, price to earnings ratio, market price divided by the earnings per share. Okay. I agree. Everyone has a different test. Okay. Right. That's the problem. You don't understand. It is not a nitty gritty test. Okay. True. Everyone has a different exam. So Ivan can have a bunch of problems where Sebastian didn't get it. It's just all over the place. Focus on the suitability big time. Okay. Right. Most people get a ton of options and some people don't. Or if I try to get that right, Caleb. Or they were so easy for you, Ivan, that you didn't realize they were there. And that's what happens sometimes. If you're ready for options and you own them, you may just click through the options real quick and not even realize that you did a bunch of them because they're easy. It'd be funny you ain't scared. No, nobody's scared. I agree. Okay. Yep. Don't let the test freak you out. We're not scared. Nobody's scared. Okay. So here's one more thing I'm going to add to this. Okay. I saw somebody give advice and I have a FINRA exam group on Facebook. And one of the guys who's a tutor gave this advice, which, yeah, I agree. I'm going to bring that up. That's awesome. Thank you, Caleb. I agree. 100%. First, I'm going to tell you the advice this person gave to this person. I don't want to undo him because I don't want to embarrass him. But here's my thing on this. He said, any question you don't know, mark it for review. No fucking way. If you don't know it, you're not going to get an epiphany in the next 2 hours. Okay? Don't mark shit for review if you don't know it. If you're not sure, mark, because then you're going to have like 30 questions in mark for review and you can't get to the ones you're not sure of. Okay? So, mark for review is for things that you're 50-50 on, 50-50, and things that to look so long you can't get through. If you have 40, 50 questions in the mark for review, you're dead. You can't go over them again. You're going to retake the test again. So his idea was that, you might see a question later that helps you. So what? You can always find it in the regular thing. So I'm going to tell you right now, if you, don't mark for review. It's mark for review is used sparingly. That's what it's for. Here's what I tell everyone. You can, on the 7, you can get 35 wrong and you pass. It's a lot of fucking questions. The ones you don't know, let them go like a goalie, okay? Right, so that's true. So that's fine. If you know good, you got it. But if you have a 50-50, truly 50-50, not like 70-30. If it's 70-30, stick with the 70 and you're there. So here's what happens. This is how I handle that thing. If you have a question and and you have a question and you don't know it, and you pick an answer and move on. Say 20 questions later, you get one that goes, oh my God, that reminds me of that. Don't go back then. Write down the question number of the one that jogged your memory. Finish the fucking exam. Then go back and start at that number. You can just start that and then go back. No, Jocelyn, they will not. They're not going deep on the documents for registration coordination. They only have 65 questions, right? So now, then go back and look, but do it after you finish the exam, so the exam is done. Now, what Caleb said is what I tell everyone. Practice getting your timing down so you're taking the test in about 2.5, max 3 hours on the practice ones. Max, okay? Then, once you have that timing down, when you go into the actual exam, okay, how deep, Helen? Did they ask you what you needed for the qualification? Did they go heavy into what you needed for qualification, Helen? That's what I'm trying to say. Because I'm telling you, everyone I talk to, and maybe you got a harder exam, is saying it's more like what it's about, not going deep, deep, deep. You do have to know when you do qualification, coordination, and registration. But if they're going deep into it, I need to know, so I need to change what I'm saying. So if they're going deep into the documents that you need for those qualification and what's on their application, you got, tell me. Okay. Now, if I, every 40 questions, get up and take a break. Okay. Every 40 questions, take a break. So if you're like in the 40 questions and you're well under an hour, take a break. Get up, put your hand up. Maybe around question 38, put your hand up because they'll take their sweet ass time to get out to you. Go out there. Oh, absolutely. I agree, Helen. That's exactly what it is. Because I'm telling you, it's understanding it. That's why I was worried about that. It's not deep. It's more about where it is. Okay. Right. And that's the thing. That is true. So take a break every 40 questions because as Caleb said, what happens is it works. It makes it feel like it's 3 40-question quizzes instead of 120 questions. Makes it easier. Okay. There you go. That's true. That's the other thing. So, Caleb, you want to recreate it, right? And I agree. The long questions sometimes are easier, but Caleb has it dead on that you should practice this. If you're going to take it in the center, practice taking it with a mask on. Practice doing it with no coffee, or have it replicate the thing, and then every 40 questions, go out and have a drink of water, and then go back in. Okay. Okay. Here's the thing. Everyone feels like the second exam is harder, and it's not because it is harder. It's because you know more, which sounds stupid. But the first time you do it, you didn't know as much. So the second time you take it, you can answer more of the questions instead of giving a pass. No, you're going to be fine, Preston. Most people who get a 71 destroy it the next time because they study hard. That's the other thing I'm going to tell you. If you miss by 1 or 2 questions, don't think I only missed it by 1 or 2 questions. I need you to think, oh, I missed it by 30%. I need to bump that up. But as I do have to jump off in 3 minutes. Right. So there you go. So that's what I'm saying, Dean. It probably felt a little harder just because you were better prepared. And there's more questions you can attempt instead of letting them go. Okay. Right. You missed by 29%. That's what you have to think, that you need to bump your score up. You don't need 100, but you have a lot of room. Okay. Okay. Don't worry about it. We got this. Okay. I do have a student at 9:30 and then at 10, so I have to jump off. Thanks, guys. Listen, as I tell everyone, when you miss, it's a 30-day problem in a 20-day career, a 20-year career. Who cares? Nobody cares how you get past. Nobody cares how long it took you. Once you pass, it's like they forget. And Dean, I am so happy for you. Ivan and Sebastian is not on here. Boom. Dean, here's the thing. Ask a 66 question and I'll answer a 66 question. We had a couple on here. Okay. Boom. No problem, guys. Happy to help. Okay. Yeah, that's true. Caleb, I can't say that right. Stay off Reddit the week before. Ivan, I'm so happy to hear that. I'm so happy that you passed. I'm happy to help. All I ask is just share this shit around. Guys, thank you very much. If you like what I'm doing, hit like, subscribe, tell people, share it to your college professors, everyone. And boom, Caleb, you're the man. He's been ride or die with me since the beginning. Okay. Yeah. No testing the day before. The day before the test, don't take any tests, because if you don't do well, you'll be ruined. And if you do well, it doesn't mean anything. Okay. If you like what I'm doing, boom. Yeah. You got to stay off it, because you get people say shit and you don't know if they're real or not, and they're fake. So don't do that. Okay. Everyone, have a good night and wash your hands. Yeah, Helen. But the problem is Reddit's looking at you now too. I'm kidding. Some people on there. Okay, everyone, I gotta go. I'll talk to you. Wash your hands and wear a mask.